All righty, guys. Well, welcome to the Wake Up Call. Another Friday. I love being connected with you guys and sharing a little bit of what I've learned today. So let's go ahead and dive into the call today. One of the things that I want to talk to you guys about, so as you know, if you've been on this Friday call with me, I like to talk about or teach about how to create and manifest the world of your dreams, the life that you want. And it's a daily discipline to create this world. It's not, something you do one time or really go to a workshop and go to a 5-day workshop and just, learn how to do it and you just do it one time. It's really all about I always say this to my family. I say it's all about the little things. So it's all about daily disciplines of doing little things. And what we're doing is we're creating that path that leads us to the life that we want. And then that path will get dust. It'll get little pebbles, sometimes a rock, sometimes a boulder. And we just got to move it out of the way every single day. One of the things that I've learned as I've gone through this this journey for the last 30-plus years is that we will always have something in front of us that we have to clear off the path. And those are lessons that we're going to learn in life. When you're trying to become something you've never become, accomplish something never accomplished, or have something that you've never had, you have to become a different person. You have to become a new person. And to become that new person, you're going to have challenges in life. They're going to present themselves. Those are those we could call them stumbling blocks, but they're not. They're just blocks along the way that we have to learn the lesson. And when we learn the lesson, it clears it off the path, and we continue to go forward. And one of the biggest challenges for most people, and it has been for me, is our emotions. And so what we have to do is we have to get to the point where we have emotional intelligence. Emotional intelligence is really important as you're developing, as you're growing, as you're achieving more and more of what you like. And believe it or not, for me, success includes having emotional intelligence. And I'm going to explain to you what emotional intelligence is and why it's so important, but you can have success because, remember, this path, it's not a path of just reaching one goal. You could say this path is, at the same time, it's one path, but it's divided into whatever many things that you want to accomplish. It could be financial, it could be spiritual, it can be health-wise, and emotional intelligence is one of the parts of this path because you can see maybe on TV, maybe people that are very successful in one arena, but that they lose their temper, they say things that they regret later on, and it's been videotaped or it's somewhere posted on social media, and so you'll see that the emotional intelligence is missing. And for me, this is one of the biggest challenges in my life because I'm a very emotional person, and it served me well because it served me well in certain areas of my life, and then it also destroyed certain areas of my life in a way. So emotional intelligence is, first of all, you're aware of who you are. You just understand who you are, and you're good with yourself where you're at. A lot of times when we lose when we have, a moment of anger, a moment of where we just can't control our what we're feeling and how we express ourselves to others, we get mad, we get, frustrated. It's really a part of just, we need to understand ourselves. We need to be kind to ourselves. We need to, be encouraging to ourselves. So emotional intelligence is going to be, there's several layers to it, but one of the layers is that you got to give yourself a break, guys. You're only going to have one you in this life, and You can either beat yourself up on the things that don't go your way, or that you think you haven't learned, or you think you can't accomplish, but you're only going to have you. And so we have to learn to give ourselves a break. We have to learn to love ourselves. We have to learn to understand that we are God's creation. And just like we say that we have to respect others because they're God's creation, well, you got to start respecting yourself first. So one of those things is, first, it starts with you. Emotional intelligence will always start with you. You have to understand, you have to love yourself, and you have to give yourself a break no matter what you do. I don't care what you do. You have to learn to do that. And as we give ourselves a break, that doesn't mean that there's an excuse to just do whatever we want to do to everybody else. No, because another part of emotional intelligence is being understanding of the others around you and how your actions and your emotions and your outbursts affect them. So first it starts with you say, okay, I'm going to love myself. I'm going to give myself a break. I'm not going to be so hard on myself. See, you have to be able to do that for yourself before you can project it somewhere else, okay? And if your emotional intelligence is not where you have, first of all, compassion for yourself, love for yourself, understanding for yourself, patience for yourself, okay, the reason it's got to start with you for emotional intelligence, to have emotional intelligence, is because we reflect what we feel about ourselves into the world. And we're going to get back that from the world. So what happens is if you don't care about yourself, you don't take care of yourself, you don't understand yourself, you don't respect yourself, you don't give yourself a break, then everybody around you is going to be the exact same way to you. You're going to have people that don't respect you, you're going to have people that don't care, and then that's where, you'll start having friction and issues with others, okay? So, but once you do that, now there may be people that pop in your life that don't respect you or do this and that, but it'll be limited. It'll be limited. It may be just a little part of a lesson you have to learn. It won't be like a daily thing. People that say, the world is like this and the world, is so unfair and this and that. It's true. You can't argue with somebody's truth because that's what they feel about themselves. They have to get that back. The world is a boomerang. What you throw out is what you're going to get back. And so if you don't love yourself, you don't respect yourself, you don't treat yourself with that caring, loving, giving yourself a break, then you're going to get that from the world. Now, once you learn to control this, and this is part of it, like, Juan, you don't know I have outbursts, I can't control them, it's people are unfair, people this and that. See, the reality of it is one of the things we have to learn to be able to have emotional intelligence, and this is where I really had a problem, was not judging everybody, not judging people. And I'm talking about not judging at all. And you may say, I don't judge people. We all, if you were, maybe you weren't as bad as me, but we all judge others. Because when you judge somebody, it's when you don't understand this stuff, it's kind of the way how we feel better about ourselves. It's kind of sometimes how we feel like less of a loser as we judge other people. And we start saying, well, listen, this, and some people just judge people because they judge. They're just used to judging and they just judge. But when you judge somebody, you say, well, and maybe somebody did something wrong. See, the thing that I've learned is I work on not judging anybody at all. Like, somebody may have done something horrible. I have no right to judge them. See, I have no right to judge them or say anything about them. I say, look, man, I don't know, why that person did that, but, I feel, sadness. I'll pray for, maybe the people that were hurt, but I'm not going to say anything about that person. I have no, I don't know what he went through in his life. And we don't. We really don't know what people went through in their lives and why they do what they do, or maybe there's something, wrong with them and, in themselves, and they're broken people. So if we work on not ever judging anybody, then we have stopped the bleeding, guys. You stop the bleeding. Because now the only thing you look at is, how am I reacting to things in my life? How am I doing with the way I treat others? Because the other part of emotional intelligence and part of the not judging is understanding others and giving them a break too. Like, I don't know why he's mad at me, but, maybe he had a rough day. Instead of exploding and what is this, you know what, let's just not talk right now. I don't know what happened, but let's move on. And I'm not saying we're going to be perfect in this, guys. I'm saying that we have to be conscious about it. We have to be conscious about it so that we have emotional intelligence. But it would be, so first of all, it starts with you. Then you're going to have that same empathy for others. Okay, so you'll put yourself in their shoes. And when we put ourselves in somebody else's shoes, is when you will really come to understand why they did or said what they did or said. And not that you necessarily would have had to handle it that way. That's not about how you would have handled it, but you understand where they're coming from. So once we do that, then we understand others. Then we also have to understand that people are in different stages of their growth. So one thing that I learned as well, and this is part of emotional intelligence, is just keeping my mouth shut when somebody's not asking me for an opinion about something. And because I understand that everybody is me, including myself and everybody else, we're all on a path. We're all on different levels of that journey, and we're all learning in our own way. And what I used to do was tell people how they were wrong and how they should have done this and how they should have learned that, and look at this, you don't understand this. Maybe I'm right in what I'm saying, but they're not ready to hear it. It's just like this call. You get on this call if you're ready to hear it. And if you get on this call and you don't like it, you're not ready to hear it, and that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. I don't judge you for that. It's not ready. Like, I wasn't ready for certain things in my life, and I'm still not ready for certain things in my life, but I'm still not there yet. You just got to everybody's got to find their path. Everybody's not find their path. That's not what I meant to say. Everybody's got to find their way to get to the next level. And for you to be emotionally intelligent about it is if somebody asks you, hey, man, I see that you've done this, or if people are on this call, they'll message me and ask me, hey, this and that. They're ready to learn and they're ready to go to the next path. But I'm not going to everybody on this call and saying, hey, did you get this? Did you learn it? Did you understand it? Are you doing it? No, because that's not my call to make. That's not me to interfere with somebody, because what ends up happening is when we do that, or when somebody does that, like I used to do it, we just put a bigger boulder in front of that person. Instead of helping them, enabling them so that they could get to the next level of their growth, their spiritual growth, now I just put another rock in there. Now I probably made them feel like, man, I'm never going to accomplish anything. One told me this, I'm not even there. I thought I was already there or getting there. See, the only thing, if you're an emotionally intelligent person, the only thing you really do is you encourage and love people. Now, I have kids. It's not like they make mistakes and I love you. You're okay. You're on your path. I mean, if your responsibility is your kids or whoever you're taking care of, you can teach them. That's a little bit of a different story. You teach them, say, look, don't do this because this is what's happening. But that's your inner group, your family, people that if your kids are minors, we have to teach them lessons. But I'm talking more about the outer world, adults, people that are in your life. We have no right to tell them they're wrong and that they have to, get to this and understand this. We really don't have that right, because remember, what you do to others are going to come right back to you. And I'm not a person that likes people telling me, you need to fix this, you need to do that. I like to learn on my own. I like to learn as I'm living my life and making mistakes, because the reality is that most people will only learn how to grow and have emotional intelligence through mistakes that they make in life. And just looking back at your life, how many things did we learn from what our parents told us a million times? Sometimes we just had to go out there and make that mistake. And so part of that emotional intelligence is letting people make their mistakes and just being there and loving them, giving them respect, letting them, grow to that next level for themselves. So very important. Emotional intelligence is also how you interact with society. Okay, we can't go around in society and just telling everybody what our beliefs and that our beliefs are right and that they need to do what we tell them to do and that that's the right thing to do. No, we don't come to do that. In society, we come to just live out our life and be an example to others. If you feel your life is the correct way to live life, then live that life. Let your light shine through, and people will come and ask you, or people will start acting more like the way you act because they've seen it and it's clicked in their mind. Like, look at the way John Doe acts. He's always at peace, always calm, and and just look, he's got a great life, great family. He looks like his business is going well. See, that's how we impact the world. We don't impact the world by going out there and hammering everybody our belief levels, which we believe is the right way to live, because there is not really a right way to live other than, if you want to say what's the right way to live, is loving. What did Jesus teach us? You love others. You love God. You be a person of peace, love. And if you live like that, if you just treat others the way you would want to be treated, then you wouldn't want to be treated where people are telling you how you should live your life. And that's part of emotional intelligence. And as I learned this and I started to grow and start to develop it, I became, a more peaceful person. And I realized my life was just a lot easier. I didn't have all these issues that with people and with society. I started to just feel like, man, I'm gelling with the world and I'm flowing. And that's what emotional intelligence is. Now, my time's up. My goodness, I'm sorry. I didn't even see the clock. Well, that is basically all I had for today, guys. Listen back to this video, and you'll kind of, what is emotional intelligence? Where do I fit? How am I doing? But it all starts with you loving, respecting yourself first, okay, guys? And giving yourself a break. No matter how many mistakes you make, give yourself a break. Forgive yourself. Let's learn from them, and move on, guys. Love you guys. Have a great weekend, and we'll see you next Friday.